you guys, none of you really answered the end of Maine's question, which was interfamilial sexual abuse. You all talked about domestic violence, but Ccstp has a reputation for not prosecuting interfamilial sexual abuse. Will you take a harder stance on that? And second, this is the second question, so you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I only get one question. How do you feel about court-watching groups in the courts? I personally feel like the judges need less latitude and some more transparency and accountability. How do you feel about that? Thank you.
I think that question kind of ties to that gentleman, so we can answer that in the time allotted to the Thank you.
Well, we just say I'm certainly in favor of court-watching groups. There's nothing stopping us. We want to have court-watching groups. Maybe Louisiana, United can do that. I'm in favor of that. We need to do it so that the system can be accountable to you, the public. In terms of intersexual, interfamily sexual abuse, I want to tell you something. I've handled some of those cases. I find the district attorney's office to be very aggressive. I disagree with you. I think they've been very aggressive in that area. Those are difficult cases. I've represented people who were falsely accused, who were acquitted, or the charges were dismissed. So I take the other side of that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't investigate. We need to be very aggressive. But I've seen plenty of instances of people falsely accused, and that's just as wrong, just as bad as someone not being prosecuted properly. So I commend the district attorney's office for the work that they've done in the sheriff's office in that area. Thank you.
You know, there probably isn't a more difficult case as an interfamily sex abuse case from an investigation standpoint, from a screening standpoint, and a prosecution standpoint. Just like Mr. Montgomery indicated, we want to make sure that the right person gets convicted for a crime. There's an old saying in law enforcement, we'd rather 10 guilty go free than 1 innocent go to jail. So you have to make sure that you have all your I's dotted, T's crossed, and you can prove that case beyond a reasonable doubt. The second part, court watching. When I was a prosecutor for about 8 years here in St. Tammany Parish, we had Mothers Against Drunk Driving would come into our court every other week, basically. We had trials every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They were there. They would get a copy of the docket. They would monitor certain cases just to track the outcome. I welcome it. I think, who am I to tell a court watching group or members of the public they're not allowed in a public building? It's not up to me. It's up to the people. If they want to come and watch the court system go on and keep track of outcomes, that's perfectly within their constitutional right to do so. I wouldn't prevent them at all.
I would be totally supportive of a court watching group. The court says an open to the public. I would encourage every group of any kind of special interest to be involved and report what you think. Have your statistics ready. Make a judges accountable and prosecutors and the district attorney's office. They should be accountable. There should be the public open door stuff. Nothing behind doors should be going on. You should know what is happening right there in the court, and you should hear it, and you should know the reason why. So that's how that should go on the other part. The other part of the question was the sexual abuse. The grand jury would be a great, on a close call. A lot of the sexual abuse cases that are serious in nature end up with a great investigation by the sheriff's department. But there's no DNA, there's no hardcore evidence. You get down into a verbal credibility call. And those are very tough for the district attorney's office, very tough for the sheriff's office to present. They look for everything. The prosecutors, we would need any kind of DNA, scientific evidence that can tie that together. And we would love to have that, but if you don't have it, it's all a credibility call. I suggest bringing that to the grand jury and letting them decide.
Thank you, Mr. Blunt. Mr. Burns.
I hate to say it again, but this separates me from everybody sitting up here. I'm going to make a change. So let's do this. We welcome Mothers Against Drunk Drivers coming into the court and any other watchdog group that wants to do that. I agree with that. Now, as it relates to inter-family sexual abuse, We've seen it on television just recently. What's happening here for the people who have already talked about is you are again victimizing a woman victim. I am not going to victimize women on television. I am not going to reveal their name. And to the extent that we can prove a case, I am not afraid to bring an inter-family sexual abuse case. My office is going to be woman protection, women driven. I am going to protect the women and the families in St. County and Washington Parish to an nth degree. That separates me from the folks standing in front of you.
Our final segment will allow 75 seconds for each candidate to give a closing statement. Mr. Trainer, give us your best 75.
We have
Are the questions to close?
We can't go on.
First of all, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules and lives, coming out here and getting engaged in this process. This is an important election. It has not been an election for district attorney in St. County and Washington Parish, I believe 18 years. I'm the only candidate here standing before you that's committed their entire career to law enforcement and to public service. I began my public service back in 1993 when I raised my hand and I enlisted in the Louisiana Army National Guard right here, 205th Engineering Battalion in Slidell, Louisiana. And I continued that service to the people here in St. County Parish for 8 years as a prosecutor right here. And then I continued that service since 2010 and present, either as a deputy chief of the sheriff's office or as the chief deputy in the sheriff's office, up until I took a leave Friday. People ask me, why are you running for district attorney? You're crazy. I said, well, maybe I'll get up here and they can take shots at me all they want, but it's worth it. I'm running for district attorney because I'm a husband, and I'm a father, and I have a 9 and 7-year-old that deserve to live in a safe community. And I will do everything in my power to make sure my family's safe and your family's safe. Again, my name is Brian Trainer. I'm asking you for your support. I'm asking you for your vote. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Roy Burns, and I've set myself apart tonight in a difference. But first, I'd like to say why I'm running. It's the same reason that Brian is. I'd like to introduce my wife, Mary Burns, Colonel of the United States Army. This is our 37th wedding anniversary. That's Mary. I want her to be safe. Sitting next to her is my daughter, Dr. Molly Burns. I want her to be safe. I'm going to institute new policies in St. County Parish and Washington Parish that are going to make her more safe. I am able to make a difference in people's lives. I have practiced with honor and integrity for 38 years. I have an excellent relationship with the men and women of the Sheriff's Department. I can tell you I am respectful to them, they are respectful to me, and there are large members of the law enforcement community, state police, city police, the sheriff's office, who are voting for me, although they might be fearful of saying that. They will be voting for me. At this time, I am proud to say that I have worked in this parish as a businessman and an attorney respectfully, day to day, for 38 years. Thank you very much. I need your vote.
Well, Mr. Burns has separated himself. And we all are trying to do that in our own way. All right? We want to make sure that you understand. I think we're all tough, right? You know that. But who's going to be the right man to bring us into the future? Who's got the right qualifications? Who's got the right leadership? We got to have transparency. That's mandatory. We got to have reform. It's not working what we have. Now, I have the qualifications. I have the independence to look those things together to bring in the integrity to make a reform effort happen here in St. County. Y'all want transparency? You deserve it. I want it. We deserve it. My family is here. We talked about my family already. I have a seriously dedicated family. I've dedicated my life to this parish. I've dedicated myself to the law practice. And I've been judged, I've made hard decisions, I will continue to make a hard decision, but I'm a very fair man. I'm gonna do what's right. You do what's right, you have nothing to hide about, and I will have an open door policy.
Still a victim of the
You
cold,
can
huh?
count on me to bring you to the next future generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Someone will fill in for you,
Ladies and gentlemen, this election is not about transparency. This election is about integrity. That's what this election is about. It's not what people say up here, it's what they've done in their lives. And you know that I will be an aggressive district attorney because I was an aggressive federal prosecutor. You know that I will treat people accused of crime fairly and give them a just trial, because that's what I did as a defense attorney when I gave them their constitutional rights. You know that I will operate an efficient district attorney's office because that's what I did as a businessman. These aren't empty promises. These are things I have done and that you can see. So tonight I ask you for the most valuable thing that you have and that you can only get. Only thing you can give, and that is your vote. If you want real change and restoring integrity with an aggressive prosecution and fairness to everyone, please give me your vote. Thank you.
I would like to thank all the families for giving us the job, making this a very easy job for everybody.